oneself. How does that work? You must be asking. So, yes, that is exactly what happens when an artist steps out of the box. Boxes do limit your options, don't they? You're right on point. I can't say it. I honestly can't say it any better. Our guest goes by the name Patrick Chilokoto, and he happens to be my namesake. Yes, how nice. You know, the last time that we met and I had that interview, I found that to be really good. I did like how you unpacked, visualized, using the illustration of a tree. All of that. And today though, our focus is on color. Kindly shed more light on that with regard to it being an element of art. Like you rightly stated, color is one of the elements of art. It's a building block that we use to create our pieces. Okay, so basically defined as a property that an object possesses, producing different sensations on the eyes, as a result of the way it reflects or emits light. Another definition, you could say that color is the hue, as in H-U-E, alright, the hue, value and intensity of an object, and probably at this point I can go a little further and just break those down a bit.
Right.
And so when you say hue, you could say that is the property, that gives an object its color, right? Or you could say that's basically just another synonym of the word color. When you talk about value, yes, value can mean a lot of things, but when we use it in art, it basically looks at the lightness or darkness of an object, right? I was actually going to ask you that, when you said value can mean a lot of things. So when you use it in art, it means lightness or darkness, right? Of a tone, yeah, right. And the tone. Other terms you could think of words like tone, which literally means a tint or shade, right, of an object or a color. And when you say tint, that word can be looked at in twofold, right? You can consider it as a noun, and at the same time you can look at it as a verb, as an action word. And so when you say tint, basically you're looking at a color to which white has been added, right? And used as a verb, the word tint will mean the process of adding white to a color to make it light. You can also bring in the word shade, right? And so when you say shade, you are considered as a noun. You're looking at a color to which black or another dark color has been added to make it look darker. And when you use it as a verb, right, then it will mean the process of making a color darker by way of adding either black or just a dark color to it. And well, if I may go or add another word that pops up when you're talking about color, you have words like saturation, right? So from the point of view of an artist and how we use that in our vocabulary, saturation refers to the purity or intensity of a color. Take signal red for instance, the way you see it from the traffic lights. When it's in its purest form, right, we say this color is bright red, highly or overly saturated. That's the bright red, alright? And when it is watered down, you can say it is less saturated. So saturation is one of those terms we use quite a bit when we're talking about color. You can see from that visual there, what I basically mean by what I just said. Now, with that ground laid, will you talk to us in a bit more detail about types of color? I'm sure you must have some way of categorizing these things. Yeah, I was almost coming to that. So, with the types of color, you can say essentially there are 6 types. All right, you have primary colors, okay? You have secondary colors, you have tertiary colors, you have neutral colors, and then you also have warm colors and cool colors, alright? And so when you look at warm and cool colors collectively, you would say analogous. And so if you're going to use that, you may say there are 5, but essentially there are 6. Okay, so what type of colors are primary? So primary colors are colors that exist naturally, and these are, right, we're talking about red, blue, and yellow. Okay, so it's basically, right, those colors there. All those ones there, red, blue, and yellow. Okay, right. Secondary colors? Now you have, we talked of secondary, yes. So what are secondary colors? Secondary colors are colors that you obtain by way of mixing 2 primary colors. 2 primary colors, not 3, right? Okay. So for instance, orange, right, is a secondary color. You mix it by way of getting yellow and red. Okay, see that? Comes right between those 2 to me, and that's how you obtain. You mix those 2 primaries and you have your orange. Another example that I would give is purple or violet. Look at that. So in that visual there, you see that color coming between red and blue. So that's how you obtain it. Basically mix red and blue, and you will have obtained your violet or your purple, if you like. And you know, green is yet another secondary color that you can talk of. So you get that by, as you can see, from mixing blue and yellow, yellow and blue, giving us green. So that's a secondary. Green is a secondary color, and so those are our secondary colors. The third type of color. The third type, going by the list that we've generated, are tertiary colors, right? And these ones are produced by way of mixing 1 secondary color and primary. Okay, so for tertiary, it has to be a primary and a secondary. Okay, so you have 1 primary and a secondary. Look at that. So there's that yellowish green, right, sitting next to yellow. That color you obtain it by mixing yellow and the green, which is a secondary. That's how you obtain that, right? And ordinarily, we will call it a yellowish green, but in our language you may say yellow green. You know, it sounds off, but we understand ourselves when we say that. Okay. The other color I can talk of is a blue green. Okay, look at that. So you get that by mixing blue and the same green. Okay, the green, which is a secondary, and a blue, gives us a color that laymen out there may say or call a dark or a deep green. Right? In our vocabulary, we say a blue green, and it's understood that way. So you notice in each there are 2 colors, right? So I called one blue green. Blue is one name and green is another. So those 2 put together, they're giving us a blue green. That's a compound name, right? And so, you know, if you go on mixing your colors, you will come up with something like what we have there, and that is our color wheel in its totality. Right. Okay. So that one, our color wheel has the primaries, the secondaries, and tertiary colors. Right. Wow, that really looks interesting, and there's a mouthful of information there.